Hi, it's Barbara, the East Coast Dragon Lady, coming to you on Thursday. This is day 4 of the Christ consciousness that I was guided to share with you. So today, the card is about Judas, and it's a catalyst and soul contracts. And if you followed me for any period of time, you'll know that I talk a lot about connecting with our soul, that I've awoken to my soul's, not just my soul's purpose, but to remembering a lots of past lives, which is remembering our soul. So this is what card 11, so 1111. Card 11 is, this is Amanda Ellis's self-mastery deck of the Christ consciousness. So this is really about, usually working for yourself, but I thought this was something that I should share as we're sort of post-Holy Week. And I was just guided to share this with my audience, or whoever sees this, this is meant for you. So card 11 is a number associated with spiritual awakening, sometimes different, but for that to occur, we need souls or situations that are a catalyst that lead us there. The partner who cheats, so we learn self-worth, the redundancy that leads to a new career, the absent parent who teaches us independence, the disloyal friend who reveals who our real friends are, the illness that teaches us to make the most of every day. This card highlights the soul contract of Judas Iscariot, and asked us to see it was just as important as more historically loved characters whose roles were easier to praise and understand. Identifying who or what has played a Judas archetype in your own life teaches us much about ourselves and our contracts, as well as those who awaken and serve our growth through a more difficult role. Without Judas, there would have been no crucifixion, and without that, no rebirth. Jesus truly understood that someone had to betray him for his destiny to be fulfilled. He told Judas to do it quickly, and when he kissed him on the cheek by him and met by a crowd that stayed with staves and swords, admonished even his other disciples for using force to stop what needed to occur. Judas, as an emissary, someone who sent on a special soul mission, deserves not vilification, but love, appreciation, and understanding. Picking this card today suggests there may be someone in your life, a situation or an event that has deeply affected you. You may have been betrayed in some way, but as the event that has deeply affected you, you may have been, betrayed. Sometimes this is difficult for me to read, so bear with me. This actually speaks very deeply to me, and something came up yesterday that triggered some of this. So picking this card today suggests there may be someone in your life, a situation or an event that has deeply affected you. You may have been betrayed in some way, but as painful as such an experiences are, they can rebirth us into something new. In time, we look back and note that we are who we are today because of them. We are given important opportunities to, for example, forgive, let go, and accept as well as find compassion for opportunity to the ones who acted cruelly. You may be going through this metamorphosis right now, and if so, be gentle with yourself, since rebirth takes time. Often, only when we know others' story, do we understand their behavior, how they were raised, what circumstances they lived through. their unhealed drivers and wants. If we look at Judas, he was driven by money. The 30 pieces of silver gave him no satisfaction, pleasure, or enjoyment. None of us like to be the ones who is hated or vilified. We like to be the hero, yet you can't have one without the other. Both Judas and Jesus were tied into God's divine plan to show something far bigger, the resurrection energies that are carried within us all. If we look at the card, we will see conflict and confusion on Judas's face, because soul contracts are seldom easy when they arrive, and veil of amnesia is often present, where we forget what we signed up for pre-incarnation. However, if we can soften our stance to Judas and aspire to forgiveness and respect that Jesus had for him, do what you want to do. We can start to model that in our lives too, to see such Judas events or relationships as vehicles that deliver us from the old version of ourselves to the new, and teach us much along the way. So that is pretty deep. And as I said, and I know in my work in the mental health field, I've often talked about how if you have PTSD, that it feels like there's somebody just waiting around the corner. Like you don't know when that's going to come up. You don't know what's going to trigger you that day. And for me, I've been on a very long journey of transformation and I guess resurrection. And I think this is why the Christ consciousness has spoken to me this week. And as it's just, we're just after Easter. And I didn't realize that this Judas card was actually going to affect me. But I think I know that I'm a much better person for what I have been through. And I often say that if I'd have gone I was at sort of a crossroads. And if I'd have gone down this pattern, not crossroads, I was at a fork in the road in my life. And if I'd have chosen one, I know what the outcome would have been. It was pretty clear how that was going to go. The other road that I chose was to step away from something that was not good for me or my family, and went down this other road where I didn't know the outcome. And it's still like every day, I don't know the outcome. Whatever, touches me, it's new. And it's been like that for, so I've actually been divorced 25 years. And I can honestly say, like hand on my heart, that I'm in a better place now, but it's taken me all that time to forgive, let go, see those scenarios, working out in other parts of my life and realizing what it is. It wasn't just a divorce, it was also mother issues, which were, I guess they were magnified with my marriage. It's a whole long story and I won't go into that. But where I am today, it has made me a much stronger woman. And often, I know when I was in therapy for many, many years, my therapist would be like, that doesn't sound like the woman that's sitting here now, when I would talk about what it was like to be in an abusive marriage or things that happened to me. And she would be like, you're not that woman now. So it was something that obviously that I had, at the time I didn't know that I'd made those agreements. I do know that I'd made that agreement with my mother now. But again, that was probably 20 years later after she passed that I was able to have a conversation with her. And she told me, you chose me for the lessons that you needed to learn. I'm not that person now. Now I'm not in physical form, but you chose me for those lessons. So I guess that's where I want to leave that today, that we do choose this. And for a lot of us, the veil is much thinner, that we are remembering. our soul lessons. If you're not, don't worry. It is a process. Remember, I'm a lot older. I've been here a long time, but I'm still a work in progress, and I think I will always be a work in progress. I've often said I don't want to come back again and repeat all those patterns again, so I'm trying to get it right. So, as I say, each day is a new day and each day is a surprise. So I hope you have a good Thursday. And I've actually, out of the card, I may pull a card for tomorrow. I'll see how my morning goes. So have a good day.